Dyskutowaliśmy.
So much emotion is focused on Iran and the situation in the Middle East. The issue of the eastern flank did not disappear. And here, too, we managed to convince everyone that the eastern flank remained a priority of the European Union, also by its specific name. In connection with the war in the Middle East and the geopolitical crisis in general, Europe will not be open to everyone who wants to migrate.
Dyskutowaliśmy także o sytuacji.
We also discussed the situation on various fronts. The Ukrainian issue of European aid, the blockade by Prime Minister Orban. We did not manage to convince Prime Minister Orban, and he is still determined to block aid to Ukraine using certain procedural or formal tricks. Something very bad. As you can guess, from the Polish and European point of view, aid to Ukraine is primarily a chance to stop Russia and its aggression in Ukraine. And its officials in Brussels will be looking for some other ways, but it is not easy. Here, unanimity is indeed needed to change the financial framework, and that is why I have. Europe has a growing problem, a growing trouble with Orban. It was important to me that the eastern flank, i.e. our border, appeared explicitly by name in the defense priorities of the European Union. As you have noticed, for a long time, there has been this competition between the South and the East. Which is more important, the threat from the South, illegal migration, the war in the Middle East, or the defense of the eastern border? For me, it was very important that, at a time when so much emotion is focused on Iran and the situation in the Middle East, the issue of the eastern flank did not disappear. And here, too, we managed to convince everyone that the eastern flank remained a priority of the European Union, also by its specific name. In connection with the war in the Middle East and the geopolitical crisis in general, Europe will not be open to everyone who wants to migrate. And we also managed to convince the European Commission and other partners to say unequivocally that the Union will not repeat the mistake of 2015. This means that our task, and here I gave as a model of conduct and everyone agreed with me, our actions on our eastern border, mainly with Belarus, is that the European Union must firmly and unequivocally defend its territory and borders against illegal migration. The matter is so serious that we do not know at this moment how serious the consequences of the war in the Middle East may be, also when it comes to migratory movements. And that is why this declaration that Europe will be closed and will not be accessible to illegal immigration seemed not only something very important. These are, in a nutshell, the results of this council. Speaking of the war, rumors are reaching me that peace or the president are actually considering Poland taking part in the war in the Middle East in some way. I want to emphasize once again that, and I count on the full understanding of all allies here. We also discussed this on the sidelines of the European Council. Poland has won. As Poles, we carry a serious burden, a serious responsibility on our shoulders. This is the protection of the eastern border of Poland, Europe, NATO, and, well, no, we shouldn't look for new activities because this task is absolutely paramount for us, especially since it is clearly visible that the war in the Middle East has somewhat diverted the attention of certainly the United States, but also other countries, from the situation beyond our eastern border. And my task is to keep the whole world constantly focused on what is happening in Ukraine, because it has a direct impact on our security. So I appeal to all those who think of Poland as a participant in further dramatic situations, not to do so, because I will not agree to it anyway.